The Detroit Lions are adding some much needed depth to their roster. Now, unfortunately for a lot of Lions fans, it's not an acquisition that most people were thinking of. This is not an edge rusher, this is not a defensive lineman, and it's not even a defensive player. In fact, this player does not even come from outside the organization, and as it is an internal activation of a player who is yet to make his NFL debut. We are, of course, talking about Christian Mahogany, the sixth round selection by the Detroit Lions in the 2024 NFL Draft, who has officially been activated from the NFI list and is available to play this Sunday in Lambeau. Now, while a lot of people are going to be upset that this is not a move and this roster move does not include adding a defensive player, I do think that the addition of Christian Mahogany is a good one for the Detroit Lions. It adds some very, very much needed depth at the offensive line positions. It adds a strong player to an already really strong offensive line, and it now allows Christian Mahogany to fully be integrated into the roster before potentially taking a starting role as early as next season. So, with that being said, let's take a look at Christian Mahogany, take a look at where he was drafted, why he was drafted, what his role is going to be as a rookie, as well as projecting out his future career path as he continues with the Lions. Now, Christian Mahogany was a sixth round selection from Boston College in the 2024 NFL Draft. Widely regarded as one of the biggest steals in the sixth round, the Detroit Lions got a fantastic offensive lineman. Unfortunately, a big reason why Mahogany fell in the draft is because of the injury coming in. A lot of fans and a lot of analysts were unaware of this injury at the time, but of course, with NFL medical testing and things like that at the combine, it became clear that Christian Mahogany was not going to be ready to start his rookie season. He was not going to be healthy enough to play as a rookie, at least in the early parts of his NFL career. And he hasn't, right? Over the last 3 weeks, Christian Mahogany's practice window has opened. He's been practicing with the team. He's been with the roster. He's been at practices and all things like that. But he's been unable to play and not healthy enough to play in the games as of this point in his career. However, just a couple of days ago, he was officially activated for Week 8 action and is eligible to play for the Detroit Lions as they travel to Lambeau Field. Now, Christian Mahogany, as I said, was one of the best guards and one of the best interior offensive linemen in the entire NFL draft. Many people had him as a top 10 ranked guard, with most people projecting him to go somewhere between the mid-second round to the late third round. Almost everybody projected Christian Mahogany to be a day 2 selection, but of course, with the massive injury that would keep him out for half of his rookie season, that was a big concern for many NFL teams, and he continued to fall through the draft until Brad Holmes decided to take a chance. Now, taking a look at Christian Mahogany's collegiate career, it's been nothing but impressive, right? 11 games as a freshman in 2021, where he played 706 snaps. Those 706 snaps were exclusively at the right guard position, with 330 of those snaps being pass blocking snaps. On those pass blocking snaps, Christian Mahogany allowed just 4 hurries and a single sack in the ACC, while going up against Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and so many other great defensive lines and powerhouses. He allowed just 4 hurries and a single sack as a freshman in college. Now, in 2022, an injury did keep Mahogany out for the entirety of the season. He did not play according to PFF, did not record a snap, did not record a single moment of action in his sophomore season, but did return in 2023 and played very, very well. In 2023, as a junior, or I guess a redshirt sophomore, Christian Mahogany played 12 games, had 862 snaps split between left tackle, and right guard. A majority of them were taken at the right guard position, with I believe 50-ish snaps being split between the left and right tackles. 422 of those snaps were pass blocking snaps, where he allowed just 7 hurries and not a single recorded sack on the season. He was the definition of a brick wall at Boston College and was, again, widely regarded as one of the best interior offensive linemen in the country, one of the best interior offensive linemen in the class of 2024, and in many regards was looked at as the best pulling guard prospect in the entire NFL draft. Most people expected him to be off the board by the end of day 2, But unfortunately for him, he wasn't. And it wasn't an athleticism thing either, as Christian Mahogany graded out with a 9.64 RAS score with elite explosion, great speed, and great agility, with the only thing really holding him back being his 6'3", 315-pound frame. He's a little bit small and a little bit undersized, but that has not stopped him throughout his journey through collegiate football. And it really, I don't think, will stop him as an NFL player. Just to give a couple of impressive drills that he ran, he put a 32.5-inch vert, a 9-foot 1-inch broad jump, a 5.13-second 40-yard dash, as well as a 4.53 shuttle, which graded in the 96th percentile for offensive guards since they have been tracking it at the combine. Now, Christian Mahogany is joining an elite group of Detroit Lions offensive linemen, with Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow, Frank Ragnow, Kevin Zeitler, and Penei Sewell holding down the starting five as one of the best units in the NFL, with Coyote Owasaka, Dan Skipper, and Colby Sorsdale kind of being the three primary backups at each position, right? Coyote Owashi, I believe is how you say it. Owashik is a player that started with for the Minnesota Vikings game when Kevin Zeitler was out, and unfortunately didn't play very well, right? 3 penalties very early on helped dig the Detroit Lions into that hole. And while he was massive in helping the Detroit Lions kind of climb their way out of that hole and getting a victory in Minnesota, it was pretty clear that he was not ready to step into a starting role if Kevin Zeitler were to go down. And I think that's exactly where Christian Mahogany slides in. Christian Mahogany, I think, is the best depth offensive lineman that the Detroit Lions have, with experience playing offensive tackle on both sides of the line, as well as a plethora of experience at the right guard position. On top of that, Kevin Zeitler is on a 1-year contract. He is 35 years old and could potentially retire as early as this upcoming offseason. I think Christian Mahogany is a future starter for the Detroit Lions. I think he is the future at the right guard position alongside Frank Ragnow and Penei Sewell, or I guess in between the two. And I do think that he has a very bright future as an offensive lineman in the NFL. In fact, there's one player on the roster over the last couple of years that I think really reminds me of Christian Mahogany. And funnily enough, they wear the same number. That is Jonah Jackson. Christian Mahogany reminds me a lot of what Jonah Jackson brought to the Detroit Lions. Of course, now being on the other side of the offensive line, Jonah Jackson being a left guard, Christian Mahogany being a right guard. But Christian Mahogany kind of is that type of player, right? A high floor type of player, a guy that'll come in, was being drafted as somebody that, yeah, you could probably plug and play immediately, right? He might not be a top 10 player immediately, but he's going to be a very reliable starter on a very good offensive line, right? He might not ever be talked about with the Quentin Nelsons or the elite guards of the NFL, but he's going to be really good. He's going to be a solid 4-year player under his contract, and he's going to earn a second contract where he will make quite a large sum of money. He is a future starter. I think he's a top 10 to 15 guard type of ceiling. And overall, this is a high floor, low risk pick that will result in the Detroit Lions offensive line getting younger, staying healthy, and adding some much needed depth and talent to the back half of this offensive line. Christian Mahogany is the future starter for the Detroit Lions, and they got him as a 6th-round selection in 2024. So while his impact on the 2024 season may be minimal, he may never play a snap, he may not be out there next week, he might be a healthy scratch every single week, just like 3rd-round selection in Giovanni Manu, but that's okay, because I do think that Christian Mahogany has a bright future. I do think that Christian Mahogany is a future starter. And I think come 2025, we will see number 73 back on the Detroit Lions offensive line, starting alongside Penei Sewell, starting alongside Frank Ragnow. And I don't think we're going to have very many troubles at the right guard position for the near future. But with that being said, that is all I really have for you guys today. I wanted to give a quick update on the Detroit Lions activation of their 6th-round rookie, what to expect, what expectations are, and what we can hope to see from him as his NFL career continues and moves forward. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. I know it's not the edge rusher that we wanted. I do think that that move is on the way. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys right now. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about the move for Christian Mahogany, what you think his role could potentially be, if you think he might take a bigger step as a rookie and be more involved. Be curious to hear what you guys have to say. But with that being said, that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, and as always, go Lions.